Hello and welcome to episode 34. My name's Julie from So Unique, and I will pop all the links down below where you can find me on social media. Well, welcome to this week's episode. Hasn't it been an awful week with the weather? We've had 3 storms. I think Eunice was the worst one for us, which that sort of hit us Friday afternoon. I think I'd been in from work probably about half an hour. I came home a bit earlier, so I reckon it was about 2:30 when it started to get a little bit wild out there. Luckily Kevin got in from work before the worst of the storm hit us, but it it wasn't a very nice afternoon and evening, I have to say. And there was only, well, I said there was only me in the house. Jake was up in his room. He'd had his booster that day, so he was probably feeling just a little bit off it. Nothing much. Adele went. She left. What did she left home about 3:30 with a friend. They were going off to York for to get together with friends and to do some activity for her birthday. I think it was Laser Quest she was doing. Yeah, and there was another one as well. And I was sort of worrying about them getting there because they were driving, and I'm thinking, God, the weather is quite bad here. What's it going to be like a bit further up? But anyhow, luckily it wasn't that too bad when they sort of left our area. But no, it was pretty dire, I have to say. I had to tape up the letterbox. It was rattling, it was whining, it was terrible. So yes, I got things that were stuck in it, and I taped it all up with some masking tape because the noise, it was a horrible whiny noise, and it was upsetting the cats, well, especially Salem and Bramble. So Bramble obviously was upstairs under the bed, frightened as usual with all the noise. Salem was up there with her, and Charlie and Elsa were just sort of pottering around the house a little bit. They weren't very happy because they couldn't go out, but the storm hadn't hit at its fullest, but they both managed to go out and do the toileting outside before it got really bad, and they were only outside for 10 minutes, so they didn't go very far. But that was it. And then yesterday, which was Sunday, Storm Franklin hit. And it was awful, and we've got all this rain as well, and we're part way up, well, we're probably halfway up the hill really, and it was just running down our street like a stream. It was horrible, and at one point, at its worst, you know when you can look out your window and you can see the rain coming down, it was like that, but it was just white. You looked out of each window, because we've got a bay window, and it was just white. You couldn't see anything, and that was at its worst. And that was sort of late on yesterday afternoon before it was starting to get dark, and that went on. It sort of went off a little bit, but it went on most of the night. So it was very noisy last night when we went to bed. Luckily, we haven't suffered any wind damage at all. We've had a few empty plant pots sort of on the garden, and the neighbours seem to be okay as well. My son the other day had I think part of the fencing blown down, and it actually split the fence panel in half, so that wasn't very good. So I hope everybody is safe and well, and you didn't suffer any damage with falling trees and things like that. I have to say, we don't have a lot of trees in sort of where I live on my street. There are no trees nearby. But on the next street there are trees. Part way down the street there's a clump of trees, and then the school opposite there's about 10 trees. So that's usually my way to work and home. So now I have to go down more our street and go the long way around to keep away from the trees, because you just don't know, do you? I don't know. So yes, so like I say, I hope everybody's safe and well and has got through this storm. I'm just hoping that we're not going to get any more, because it's horrible. It really is. Luckily though, we haven't had any snow, and I think there's been quite a few people out there that have had snow, and had power cuts, and we didn't have any power cuts. I'd got my candles on though on Friday at the ready just in case the power went off, and I made sure my phone was charged up, and the water boiler for the cups of tea, that was fully filled up, you know. So yeah, so I've not actually done, I can't say I haven't done any crafting because I have been crafting, but I haven't really done any quilting this week. I started on block 8, which is still sat here. This has been here since last Tuesday because I haven't been back out, because as my sewing room is outside, when the wind is bad it comes down right down the side of my room and my door opens outwards. And when I was out here Tuesday, it was getting a bit windy, and I knew it was windy, so I knew I had to hold on to my door. And of course it whipped the door and it whipped me out of my room as well, so I sort of hurt my shoulder a little bit at that point. So I decided not to come out here anymore while it was very windy. But my shoulder's fine. It recovered pretty quickly, but yeah, it's been pretty bad, so I've not ventured out, I'm afraid. So there probably won't be any quilting this week I can share with you. So yeah, this could be a shorter vlog this week because I've not done a great deal really. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with what I've done on my cross stitch. Now, I haven't done a lot of cross stitch neither. I've had, as I've got allergies, I've got hay fever, runny eyes, I've got all these symptoms. I've had no eye drops for a while because none of the chemists locally have got any eye drops in that are suitable for me. So I've only managed to get some today, but my eyes have been running like a tap, and it feels like they're like all sort of red inside, but it feels like round the lid you've got all this, it feels like you've got something there, like there's cotton wool under your lids, and they get a little bit sore. So concentrating on like cross stitch and that has been a bit difficult this week because they're, like I said, they're running and they're getting very sticky. And I've just put some eye drops in about 20 minutes ago and they are feeling a lot better. So I'm pleased that I managed to get some from the chemist today. So hopefully I'll be able to get a little bit more cross stitch done over the following week. So I'll start with this. So what I'm doing is the skep, and you can see how far I have got. It's a lovely stitch, but like I say, it's been a bit of a strain on my eyes this week. But hopefully over this next week I hope to get this finished and get started on the next one, which I'm going to do the that nice one that I bought last week for the Jubilee, for the Platinum Jubilee. I'm going to do that I think next after I finish this. So yeah, but I do like this. This is nice. What I have been working on this week though is my crochet, because that is something I have actually taken to work and I've been sat doing that. Sorry for the rustling. 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 7. Right, I've only managed to get 8 done this week, so what I will do is I will put a picture in up here so you can see them all nicely. What I have decided to do though is try and get 10 a week done now, because I started, oh excuse me, I've actually started putting the squares together, and I've got 5 rows done now. So that is as far as I have got. So this has actually taken me a little bit of time. So that is what I've been filling my week up with, which I'm loving it. I think it looks brilliant. I'm still sticking to 10 by 10, and when it's finished I will see if I'm happy with the size, and I can always add to it. I will be putting a border on it, but I think I will wait to do that because I want to make sure it's the right size. But it actually feels, I mean, considering I've only got five rows on, It's actually quite weighty, which I was surprised at. So I've got I've got a set of 10 from last week in a pile ready to crochet together. So I'm hoping to take them to work this week and just work on this a little bit, because I would like to get this finished, because I could do with this. Sometimes in an evening it gets a little bit chilly, and yeah, but I love it. I mean, when you're doing things like this, when you're doing scrappy projects, you think, well, is it all going to go together? Will it look right? And they do. It's the same with quilting. I mean, sometimes people say to me about putting colours together, and really, you can put a lot of colours together and they look fabulous. So yes, so that's what I've been doing. And this is, like I said, this has taken me a bit of time. I have spent actually most of the weekend finishing this off. So yeah, so I think what I'm going to be doing is I've got some colours in there ready to go for the next 2 squares to finish off this week's 10. So this is why I want to try and now do 10 a week and get them stitched, not stitched in, is it, crocheted in as I'm going along. So that's what's going to keep me busy for a while. Well, I have actually done a little bit of sewing. I'd forgotten about these, and I think it was probably Tuesday. Yes, I think it was Tuesday I decided I needed to make a couple of Easter decorations. So I thought I'd experiment with some Liberty fabric scraps and to do some bunnies. So these are just the prototypes. Like I said, I only managed to do 2, but it's a great way of using up some of my Liberty scraps, because I've actually got quite a lot of Liberty scraps and I could do with using some of them up. Now I've got bunnies here, and I think I've come up with the way I like to do them, and I think I'm going to try and make a few more this week. I just need to decide on the length of the ribbon that I want to put in. So I probably will hang these up in my tree in the front room to see how they hang, and if they hang okay, I think it's this one that's, what is it now, wait a minute, yeah, it's this one. This one's a bit heavier one, this one. So I'm hoping this is going to hang, and then I can alter the length of the ribbon to suit and make sure I've got it in the correct place. And then I'm going to work on some Easter eggs in the same fashion. But yes, I've really enjoyed doing these, and they are probably quite a quick make, really. So I'm going to have a nice Easter tree, I think, this year to put. I'm hoping to put on the table, but for now I think it'll probably go up in the window, and I can just decorate it up there, and then probably on Easter Sunday or something I can pop it on the table when we're going to eat, because I couldn't put it on there before that, because as you know, Salem and Bramble will be all over the table. I won't have any Easter bunnies left. So yes, yeah, so that is a one little project. So you can say I have done something this week. I might even put some in my Etsy shop, but I'll see. Once I'm happy with them, then I can do that. Well, this week, I know I've shared this on Instagram, but I started a new bottle of gin. All my rhubarb gin's gone. I've got no more plain gin in the cupboard, but I have got a bag of frozen rhubarb, so I'm keeping that for a little bit longer. Make some a little bit later on in the year. But Kevin bought me this bottle of gin. I will put a picture in here somewhere. It is Seville orange, and I think it's Persian lime, and not a flavour that I've really had before. So I thought I would have some. So I put a little measure out. I don't have it too strong, you know. So I can afford to have more than one glass, you know, a week if I want. So anyhow, I have some little, you know, those little cans of lemonade that you can get from the supermarket. Well, I've got some of them in, and that's usually what I've been having. Anyhow, put a measure out, put some of this lemonade in. It was really, really strong. So I had to go and get another little can of lemonade in. Now, I'm not sure where he got this from. It could be Home Bargains he might have got it from, but I don't know. I've not seen it before, but it is really, really nice. And I quite fancy having a slice of orange in it. I think that would be nice. But I think this is actually a little bit bigger bottle than what I've probably had for a while. And I think it's going to last me a while. And I will be taking it on holiday with me this year. So, yes. Which is actually, it's a fortnight today that we go away. So I am hoping that we don't get any wind at least. You know, we can put up with snow and rain and that, but not wind. Also, this week I haven't really done much in the way of baking, cooking. We seem to be just sort of eating up what we've got in the cupboard and the freezer, because I had what did I have? Apple crumble. So I portioned that up the other week, if you remember me telling you. So that is what we've been eating. And I did pick up a couple of cakes from our local bakers the other day, so that's kept everybody happy. But I am going to do a bit of cooking and that tonight. But something I did make at the weekend was some stuffed peppers. Now, I have never stuffed peppers before in my life. I don't think I've ever stuffed any vegetable. I always see them in magazines and online and that. I'm thinking, oh, I really would like to try that. So after I purchased a stuffed pepper the other week, I thought, you know, I'm going to have a go at this. And I did that, and I cooked it in my top oven. Now, the top oven, I think you need to have your temperature higher up in there. So they did take a little bit longer to cook than I thought, but we got there. And I'd got red and orange and yellow peppers, and I had some beef mince and onion, garlic granules, seasoning, salt and peppers and things like that. What else did I put in? Oh, I put a jar of tomato and cheese sauce, pasta sauce in, and there was carrots and celery in, and they were all sort of finely diced and everything. And it did taste really nice. I think I would, and rice, that was it. I mixed it all with rice. So I've got 2 nice portions in the freezer for probably later on this week. It might be Thursday when I'll get that out. So I need to make sure I've got peppers on my list. But I think the peppers could have been cooked a little bit longer, and maybe a little bit more seasoning in the filling. But for a first attempt, it was actually quite nice and everybody enjoyed it. I mean, Adele didn't have any because it was obviously got mince in it, but the rest of us really enjoyed it. And really, that's all we had. We had a pepper each with all the filling in. Oh, and I topped it off with cheese, and it was very tasty. So that is another thing that's going to be on my list to do again, but maybe use some different ingredients in there. I don't know. There we go. So like I said, tonight I am going to do a little bit of cooking. I need to make a quiche. Yes, I'm going to have a crustless quiche for tea tonight. Not sure what I'm going to have with it. We might have some rice, some flavoured rice or something, and a bit of salad. But yeah, so that's on tonight's menu. And I thought, seeing as the oven's going to be on, I would make a pork sweet and sour ready for tomorrow's tea, which we'll probably have with some rice. Yeah, and I might make some cookies tonight, and maybe a cake. It just depends if I've got time or not, because I have got a few things I actually want to craft tonight. So that's it. Decision. Do I cook or do I craft? I'd much rather craft. But we do need to eat, so I think I need to do with that. So I think what I will do today, because it's getting on for tea time now, I am a little bit later in filming today because I've been out and about today, shopping, post office run and packing, things like that. And I had to go to the dentist this morning, and you know how I think you get yourself a bit worked up. I don't know if it's just me or everybody feels like that, but I never like going to the dentist. Really don't. But I do it every 6 months I go. Anyhow, I went this time. Saw a different dentist, not seen this one before, and he was really nice. And yeah, probably best dentist I've had in a long time. Really was. But I have got a little bit of gum disease starting, so I've got to be careful now with things that I eat, and I've run out of mouthwash, so I need to get some mouthwash that's for plaque and things like that, and maybe toothpaste if you can get it. But I have looked online, and it does tell you to avoid certain foods, like, what was it, ice cream, which I like ice cream, tomatoes, which I like tomatoes, and citrus fruit, which is like oranges, limes, lemons, and grapefruits, things like that. But to eat more of ginger, which I hate, apples, and onions, believe it or not. So we do have onions. We do have quite a few onions, actually. I think everything that I cook's got onions in. So yeah, that's going to be fun. But yeah, it did clean my teeth, and oh god, there was a bit of plaque at the front here, and it feels at the back of my tooth really rough. But he says to me, oh, I think we'll do an x-ray of your teeth today. And I says, oh, I've never had an x-ray of my teeth. I says, but yeah, fine, we'll we'll try it. And he put this thing in my mouth, and the first thing I did was give her up. So that was the end of that. Which I didn't expect to do that, but there we go. So that was my day, really. So it was good to get back home, have my lunch, and just chill out for a bit and relax and get over the dentist. So yeah. Anyhow, I think what I'm going to go and do now is, like I said, I'm going to go and do my cooking and see what crafting I can do tonight, which I'm hoping to get something done. I probably will try and work on the blanket today and a bit of cross stitch, I think. And then I can come back hopefully to my quilt blocks tomorrow. Now I have been having a bit of a think about this quilt. I do like it. I do like Granny's Garden quilt as it is. It's lovely, but it does come out a fair size, and I really don't fancy just quilting all of that. I think that I don't like quilting very much. I don't have the space, as I've said before, to have a biggish quilt on the go, so I am seriously thinking about doing quilt as you go. I have got some fabric. I found some fabric out at work that will do for the backing. It's a blue with nice little tiny blue flowers on, which I can use that for the bits in between the sashing part, and I'm not sure what to use for the front at the minute. So I've been thinking about this all week, whether I should do this or not. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it, because I know on these panels it's all flowers in the centre, and then the two outer pieces are squares of fabric? Yeah, oh god, yeah, I can't remember now. Where's my pattern? Let's have a look. Oh yes, it's squares of fabric, and to be honest, I thought I'd have a go at quote as you go. So I don't think I'll lose this part here, but I will have to see. I'm not sure how that sort of works into the quilt at the minute, because I haven't got that far. But yeah, so it's something to think about. Like I said, I want to try. If I get time, I'm going to try and do the first row, see how it looks, and then I'm going to take it from there. So I have got a few things to keep me busy this next week, and hopefully have some different things to share with you next week, because if you remember, if you follow me for a while, you'll know when I went on holiday last year to Scotland, I bought some Highland Cow fabric. Well, I've got a layer cake. I think it's 10.5 inch square, and I found some fabric that I'd got and I'd forgotten about it. It's like a plummy colour. It's a batik, and I thought that will definitely do for the back, and it will do for the sashing, because I've decided to do quilt as you go for that. Because I think that's probably going to be the easiest thing, and I think it will look nice. So I am hoping to start that at some point over the next week. So I'll have a little bit of something different to show you, and it's obviously going to be a bit quicker to do, because there's no fancy patchwork, there's no fancy applique on it or anything like that, and I would like to get it done, So that's going to be for the bedroom. And then that'll be something out of my stash bag that's just over there under my cutting table. Because I've got lots of Scottish fabric in there. And I did buy, I think, a Highland Cow panel. So I might do that and have that hung up on the wall in the bedroom. I don't think Kevin will be too pleased with that, but we're not going to tell him that we're doing that. So yes, and probably some more Easter bunnies and Easter eggs. I'll have some of them to share with you next week because, as I say, I think I've sort of finalised what I'm doing and I've got lots of scraps to use up, and I think it will look nice. And also that little bunny would look lovely on a quilt or a table runner or something, or cushion or a bag. So anyhow, I'd like to say thank you for joining me this week. I know the vlog's a little bit shorter this week, but I haven't been that busy, I know. And I've not had a lot of time today for filming because Monday's usually my filming day and sort of putting together sort of pictures that I've taken throughout the week. But that's not happened this time. We're going to blame the weather for that this week. So I just want to say thank you for joining me this week, and obviously thank you for taking time out of your day to spend with me. And if you enjoy what you see, please like and subscribe to the channel because that will help me sort of get my videos seen more. Sorry about that, you know, Kevin phoning. He always phones me at the wrong time. Anyhow, see, I've lost my train of thought now, haven't I? Yeah, well, because again, I probably said this, but thank you for joining me, and I will see you all again next week, and hopefully my video for next week will be a little bit longer. But take care everyone, and I hope you have a lovely week whatever you're doing, and I hope you get lots of crafting done, and let's keep our fingers crossed that these bad winds have gone. Bye for now.